Here's how I, a hypnotist, helps you reprogram your subconscious mind to trick your brain to give you a new identity so you can be the person you want to be, to do the things you need to do, to have the life you want to have. I know that's a mouthful, but hey, welcome to the conversation. In case you're new to me, I'm Dan Candell, known worldwide as the Anxiety Relief Guy. If you're not new to me, welcome back. Let's dive in deep. One of the main reasons that people feel held back, feel like they're stuck in anxious mode, worry mode, paralyzed in procrastination, can't focus, can't concentrate, or their mind is constantly racing, they're second guessing themselves, they're constantly questioning every single decision that they made, they have a problem with being successful and making money. The reason why is because people don't have the identity and they're still trying to run their mind and life on outdated software. So there are a couple of strategies that I use to help people break through those old programs, those old belief systems, even if they don't know what they are, into a new identity. And I'm going to share it with you right now. Here we go. One of the first things that can help so much is clarity. And one of the things that I do when I first start working with a client who joins my collective is I first start giving them a bunch of what we call insight questions. And I also start educating them about how their mind works and how old limiting beliefs hold them back. This is so important because knowledge is power as long as you do something with that knowledge. So one of the questions that I'll ask people are, what are some of the things that you feel held back by? What are some of the things that are difficult to do? What are some of the things that you're procrastinating? And by their responses, I can instantly tell the limiting beliefs that are holding them back and keeping them stuck in that old identity. So for example, a person might say, I'm procrastinating on building my business, or I have this project I've needed to finish and I haven't finished it yet, or I want to write a book, but I haven't finished the book and I haven't gotten it out there. The reason why is because people are held back by this belief system of what happens if I succeed, and if I finally finish this, my life is going to change and it's going to be unsafe. One of my jobs is to help people feel safe with uncertainty. One of the things that keeps us feeling secure is knowing or having this delusion that we know what's going to happen. I help people feel more comfortable with uncertainty and with change. Knowing that change isn't bad, that change is different, and different is good. I help people embrace that reality. One of the other things I do is I have them create this identity or even this alter ego of the person they need to be to do the things they need to do to have what they want to have. And I have them project themselves into that to get super, super excited. So if you just paused for a moment and you said to yourself, what are some traits, attributes, or characteristics I need in order to get myself ahead, to be more successful, to be more calm instead of anxious and panicked, or to be certain of my decisions? Like, what are some traits, attributes, or characteristics I need in order to do that? And we start there, and then I have you close your eyes. I guide you into a receptive state, and I have you become super aware of what those traits and characteristics are like to embrace and embody them. Then I have you see yourself achieving the things you've been putting off, feeling the way you haven't been feeling, or doing the things you haven't been doing, and getting super excited about it to establish this sense of clarity. So that's step number 2. Step number 2 is floating into those feelings, sensations, and emotions so that way you can start embracing these attributes. They're going to guide you to your new identity, your identity 2.0. If anxiety has been a part of your old identity, if procrastination has been a part of your old identity, if feeling like life is a constant struggle has been a part of your old identity, then we want to switch that. We want you to get super excited about that and to feel safe in that. I do all these processes that help you feel safe and comfortable with success, that help you feel safe and comfortable with doing. So that way we convince your subconscious mind that you're not going to be abandoned, you're not going to be unsafe, and we start to reprogram that part of your mind. Now, the next step that I use, step number 3, is where we do a lot of the deep inner healing work. It's a step that I call healing the past. I do this with healing the inner child. I do a lot of healing the inner child work. I do a lot of healing the past, going back and rewriting those old belief systems. Because here's what happens. We all have limiting beliefs. If we didn't, we would all be multimillionaires by now, and we'd all be in the shape of our lives, and we'd all be on top of the world. But we're not, because we all have limiting beliefs that keep us stuck and prevent us from being successful. One of the things that I was shown when I was growing up is that you don't want to be too successful, because if you're too successful, people are going to criticize you, people are going to ask too much of you, and it's not going to be a good thing, and you're not going to be safe. I was literally taught that being too successful meant you would be unsafe and then you would be abandoned. And this came from the media, some of my teachers, interactions I had with other people. It came from belief systems that, oh my gosh, that person is successful, and all these they got there in a really bad way. And even now, I see this unfolding. I see some people around me that are scam artists, they're charlatans, they take advantage of people, and that's how they become successful. But keep in mind, that is the minority. That might not be you. In fact, chances are there's someone out there who's not as smart as you are. There's someone out there who's not as qualified as you are, who's more successful than you are, who's making more money, who's living the life that you want to live, that you want to have. And you probably look at them and be like, they don't deserve that. I deserve that. So that's where we got to give you a mental upgrade. And what we do is we bring you back to the past to rewrite all of those old belief systems. For example, one of the people that I worked with recently hated going on the phone. He hated doing cold calls. He hated going to networking events. He hated talking to new people that he didn't feel comfortable with. And I said, let's examine some of the belief systems that may have protected us when we were younger, but now limit us. And one of the things he came up with was this belief system of don't talk to strangers and don't go too far from home. So this guy lived in this routine of monotony. He'd go to his office every day, do the bare minimum to survive. He'd leave the office, go to the gym. He was living a pretty good lifestyle. He'd go to the grocery store, get some food, go home, go on his laptop for the rest of the night and take some classes. He'd watch TV, read a book, and then wash, rinse, and repeat the next day. And he's like, I feel like I'm in my comfort zone when I'm in that routine, that world of monotony. And I'm like, wow, that sounds boring. I'm like, do you ever make plans? He goes, barely. And he's like, when I go out, I can't wait to get back home to my bed, or I can't wait to get back home so I can just get back into my routine. And that comes from being told, don't go too far from home, because if you do, you're going to be unsafe. For him, it went back to saying, don't talk to strangers, because talking to strangers is going to be unsafe. It's going to be dangerous. And that same program was sabotaging him today. He's like, now it makes sense as to why I don't like to talk to new people. Now it makes sense as to why I don't really engage in new relationships. And now it makes sense why I only feel safe talking to the people that I really know and that I feel comfortable with. So we had to go back to the past, and I had him talk to that younger part of himself that learned those belief systems that say, yes, these are here to keep you safe until you're maybe about 13, 14 years old, and then we can release those old belief systems and we can acquire new belief systems. And we can put the belief system in that it is safe in order to go talk to new people, in order to form relationships. It's safe to do that. In fact, it's necessary to do that in adult life. So see how reframing some of those things that we learned, even though we don't realize they were still holding us back, we can discover what some of those limiting beliefs were when you tell me these are the things I can't do. Or even when I say, tell me a little bit about your life. In my mind, I have this checklist. I'm like, yep, sabotage. Yep, limiting belief. Yep, anxiety. Yep, stress. Yep, false sense of security. Yep, doubting himself. These are the things that when we have a brief conversation, I can basically identify the limiting beliefs or the mentalities that are holding you back, and I can also identify the mentalities that you need to instill as identities. The reason why I can do this is because I have worked with tens of thousands of people around the world since I was about 14. I've been doing this since I was 14 years old. This is more than half my life. In fact, recently, I just won one of the most prestigious awards as a hypnotist that you can win. I was super excited. It took me by surprise, but it was so great to be recognized by my colleagues, by my peers. People are like, how can you just identify this by having a conversation? Because I speak the language of the subconscious mind. Your surface level problems go a lot deeper than you might think they do. When we work together, part of what I'm doing is putting you through this flexible process that allows you to do a deep dive into yourself. I can help you trick your mind to becoming who you need to be, to do what you need to do, to have what you want. Life seems easier. So that way, instead of dreading tomorrow, you look forward to tomorrow. So that way, it doesn't seem like a challenge anymore. And you have more good days and more good days than bad days, more wins than losses, and more breakthroughs and breakdowns. The person that I was describing that I was working with recently who had that limiting belief going through his mind, guess what? Now he's going to be able to go into situations he used to dread, and he's going to look forward to those situations. He's going to look forward to making connections with people. Why do I know this? Because I've seen it with so many people in the past. And you know what a lot of those conversations are going to lead to? They're going to lead to more profit. They're going to lead to more abundance, because many of the conversations he's going to be having with people, they're networking conversations. They're opening up connections, and they're allowing him to get out of that limiting mindset so he feels on top of the world instead of being buried by the world. Hey, if this is something that you want to do too, I have a link that is in the description of this video that is going to allow you to apply for one of my programs. If you go to Instagram and you DM me the word apply, it's going to enter you into a little automation that is going to ask you some questions just to make sure you're the right fit for me and I'm the right fit for you, to make sure we're going to play well together in the sandbox. So if you want, you can head over to Instagram right now and DM me the word apply. As always, my friends, make sure you rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope this gave you some insight into how to trick your mind into formulating your new identity. Be well, do good, be true to who you are, and happy healing.